Hey guys, this is Gary, and I wanted to make this video to show you a real-world scenario. You know, there's a couple things about this photo that need to be done. There's several things that need to be done to this photograph, and that's usually the case, you know? All right, so here's the photo. I'm in Lightroom 5. This leg has to go. This white background has to be extended to the edges of the frame, and it has to be smoothed out. We have to fix her hair, and we have to take a logo, as it turns out, this logo, and put it here. Now, none of these four things can be done in Lightroom. I just want to point out that everything I'm about to show you is also 100% doable in Photoshop Elements, as long as you have version 9 or above. So, all right, I'm going to jump over to Photoshop CC, and here is this image. Here's the image. It's on its, background layer. Images always come in this way, whether it's Photoshop or Photoshop Elements. So, the first thing I'm going to do is create a new layer, and I'm going to call it Clone, because I'm going to get rid of that that tripod leg. Whoops. So I've got my clone stamp tool ready to go. I'm going to take a sample, I guess right about up here, and then just paint down with the clone stamp tool to get rid of that part of the leg. Then I'll make my brush a little smaller by hitting my left bracket key, take a sample from down here, and then paint over that shadow. Then go right underneath this part of the tripod, go there, click on the edge to finish that off. Okay. So that's good. Next move, I'm going to make my clone stamp tool a lot bigger by hitting my right bracket key, and then I'm going to grab material from here and bring it over, and then just come down. Now, I'm not being careful. I don't really care, as you'll see why in a second. I'm going to come over to the right side, do the same thing. Just, keep cloning pixels from one area and painting them in on another until I've got a white background. Now, obviously, this white background has a lot of the folds. I just copied everything. It's pretty much a mess. All right, but one thing to note, this clone layer is its own layer, and because I had set my clone stamp tool to sample all layers, then it basically lifted pixels from the bottom layer and placed them into this new clone layer. So as you can see, I haven't actually affected the original image at all, right? Because all of the work I did with my clone stamp tool is on a separate layer. Okay, that's fine. Now, I'm going to merge these two layers together to form a new layer, and I'm going to use this key command called Shift-Alt-Command-E on the Mac, and that will be Shift-Alt-Control-E on the PC, and that creates a new layer. And I'll turn off the two bottom layers. Here it is. This is a new layer. All right, now I'm going to take my lasso tool, and I'm going to make a very crude selection around my subjects, like so. And I'm not concerned about being accurate. I don't really care. And I'm going to simply hit my delete key. They go away. All right. I'm going to drop that selection. So now if I turn on the two layers below, we're back where we started from, except we have this layer with the hole cut out of it. All right. So I'm going to work on that layer. I'm going to call this layer blur, I guess. And I'm going to go up to the filter menu and look for blur, Gaussian blur. And again, this is available inside of Elements too. So if I run a pixel radius of about 150 or more, look at the background. Look at how smooth it got, right? So there's before, there's after. Pretty cool, right? Hit OK. One last thing to do. I'm going to create a layer mask on this new blur layer. And I'm going to take a brush and paint with black. And I'm going to simply mask out all the areas where the blur bled onto my subjects. All right, you see on his little shoe there, on the instructor's shoe, a little bit in the little girl's head. You know, just generally go around and make sure that that blur gets masked where it bled onto the image. All right, I'm done. Look at that background. So here's before, here's after. Before, after. Last thing is to fix the hair. So I'm going to create a new blank layer. I'm going to call it hair. And I'm going to grab my clone stamp tool. Make sure all layers is selected because I'm going to be lifting pixels. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, make my brush smaller. I'm going to clone hair from here and bring it down over the collar. Clone some hair here so it's a little, you know, the direction is consistent. And then just work my way down a little bit more over the collar, working it. Okay, that's not bad, but the edges look a little weird. Plus, I've got this clump out here that I'm not thrilled about. So I'm going to clone some white background and just sort of carefully clone that out. Now, this is a soft edge brush, so it looks a little weird, but that's okay. I think I can fix that pretty quickly. All right, so now I'm going to take the radius of my brush, which was 70 pixels, and I'm going to knock it down by hitting my left bracket key to about 2 pixels. I'm going to sample hair over here and just kind of paint strands of hair in like so, and come down, sample some more hair, and then just, you know, just make some strands of hair so it looks like it's actually hair instead of a clone type thing. I'll go to a 1 pixel brush now, clone. You know, I'm just trying to give the edges of the hair a little realism. So I'm going to zoom out. Okay, last thing is the logo. Let's go back to Lightroom. And here's the image with the logo. I'm going to grab my crop tool. I'm just going to basically bring the image over. I just want the logo. I don't really care about anything else. So I'm just going to crop into the logo like so. Kind of get in pretty close like that. Okay, hit done. Then I'm going to go Photo, Edit in Photoshop CC. And again, this is all completely doable in Elements. I'm going to take my Move tool by hitting the V key, dragging it over to my main image and dragging down and dropping it. I'm going to move it into place. I'm going to take my free transform tool by hitting Command T, that would be Control T on the PC, and rotate it a little bit. Double click to commit that. All right, now I'm going to take my blending mode, which is now normal. And notice it came in on its own layer. I'm going to rename it Logo. So I'm going to change the blending mode from normal to lighten. So check that out, right? If I add a layer mask, grab a brush, making sure that my foreground color is black over here, and paint with black on this layer mask, I can feather it out and get it to look completely realistic. Look at that. You'd never know. Okay, let's zoom out. There we go. We're done. So if you look at the Photoshop version and the Lightroom version, the background is whiter. So here's how you would do it in Photoshop. So this is white, right? We have this white background. The quickest way to make that white whiter, let's go with the Levels command, which is also available in Elements. And I'm going to run this Levels as a adjustment layer. And I'm going to brighten the white. See that? Brighten the whites. That makes my background go brighter. And I'm going to pull back a little bit on the gamma slider because I think that my subjects are too bright. I'm not liking what it's doing with my subjects so much. But okay, that's why the adjustment layer comes in with a mask. With that mask selected, I'm going to grab a brush, make sure the background color is black, and I'm going to mask out that adjustment, that levels adjustment on my subject. So it's only operating on the background. Okay, so here's before, here's after, before, after. There you go, right? Pretty simple. Okay, I don't want this video to go on too long, so I'm going to stop here and hope you guys learned something. I'll see you next time. Bye.